Jack Yankel. You're listening to the Why So Serious Show.
For your cast of the Why So Serious Show on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
I should really cut that part off the end of the show, of the alumni show intro, because it's not really the not on Blaze Radio.
Of the alumni show on the Why So Serious alumni.
Does this show have sponsors?
No, the show doesn't have sponsors.
Yes, it
It's
does.
sponsored by Zach
Sponsored by the
our
Cash App. Let's take a minute for a zip
Where's the money?
recruiter.
Where's the money? That I don't see the money coming in. By the way, Jack Link's beef
Sugar-free
jerky.
Red Bull.
The money is always in the banana stand.
Oh.
R.I.P. to Jessica Walter, who
Yeah,
played Lucille
thank
Bluth.
you. Whoever said that, you have good taste in TV shows.
It's a
Is that our left
fantastic
Twix
TV
or right
show.
Twix?
This tequila bottle is our sponsor.
Again,
Yes.
we're not seeing any of the money on this.
Okay, this show is sponsored by the government. We got our
It's sponsored by my mass media law.
True. I got my stimulus last night. You see
Yeah.
my text?
Wait, Zach got a stimmy last night.
I got it last night. I
I don't
my
get the stimulus because I'm still a
Because you're
dependent of my
dependent.
folks.
Aw.
No, Jesse, claim
I
it as a
make a
tax
little
credit.
both.
That's what I did. You can write it off. Outstanding.
I don't get the stimulus.
You can write it off.
Write it off.
Again, I don't get the stimulus.
How about that?
I rely on my parents still for like 3 more weeks. Very scared about that.
Hopefully there's a fourth stimmy. You can cop it.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Just
that
file an
happens.
Yeah.
It really
Who
hope
knows?
it doesn't, but
Can we do an entire episode of the alumni show on stimulus check?
How about we don't
and
say
our
we did?
check.
But I'm here. I'm in the edit bay because I'm working on my Barrett honors thesis, and Premiere sucks, so I lost a couple of bits of my audio. So I had to move edit bays because it just stopped playing through the speakers.
Okay.
But anyway, is everybody
I had technical difficulties on midterm today. That wasn't fun.
Not fun
Like
at all?
the first true sign of why virtual school sucks was I couldn't log in on my midterm and I was 30 minutes late to it. That sucked.
At what point do y'all go back? Like, we're at a point in this
Never.
where it's
Never.
where ASU has done it pretty well. I'm not gonna lie. So
I think I'll be very, very surprised, honestly, if we start on time in the fall. Honestly.
it's everybody's gonna be vaccinated by then, and if you're not vaccinated by then you're then you just don't believe in science. And then
They did just announce
So
that
half a month.
they did just announce that vaccinations are getting released to all adults here, starting April 5th. So
Yeah, everybody.
What, in
Yeah.
Arizona?
Yeah.
no, in California.
California.
Oh.
All right. Well, has everybody enjoyed March Madness so far?
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
I
Jeremy,
needed
have you
it
enjoyed
back.
it?
Yeah, give me a second. I'll be right back.
Where you going?
Oh God.
Jeremy is
Watch
the only
Rushmore.
one with somewhat a team that has been successful in this.
He has 2 teams left.
He does have 2 teams left. One of them I have going to the Final Four, and the other I have going to the Elite 8. So
He has his mom's alma mater and his dad's alma mater.
that's pretty impressive. My mom and dad's alma mater both are the same thing, and they're both D3, and they haven't been good since 1990. So
My mom and dad went to the same school for a time, but my dad ended up graduating from American University. They played 10 games this year, might have been the lowest amount of any school in the
American
country.
Let's go.
I have seen American
Let's go,
University play in
Orange.
person, by the way.
Love it.
I saw them play. They were 15,
3 players on the Qs.
Name
the
3
way-
players on cues.
Buddy Bayheim.
That's it.
There's
That's it.
3 players.
Buddy
Name
Bayheim
players.
is literally the greatest player
that guy,
in
the
Syracuse
Dola guy,
history.
right?
And Guerrier is there.
Yeah.
He gets a ton of boards for them.
Buddy
Dola guy.
Bayheim is the greatest player in Syracuse history.
You really?
I agree.
By the way,
He's great.
just
That's
a
a
little
weird
bit
way
on
to
a,
spell Carmelo Anthony. What?
just a-
He's the greatest player they've ever had. Are you
Yes,
kidding?
Buddy Bayheim is, yes.
Until Buddy drops 60
Okay, continue, Max.
Just a little bit on American University. They were a 15 seed the year I went to the tournament playing against number 2 seeded Wisconsin. Wisconsin beat them by 30 points.
There was that one year that American University, they gave a little bit of a scare to Villanova. It was fun. But yes, they played 10 games this year. They played in the Patriot League, which was like the conference that played but only played themselves, and they had a bunch of COVID postponements, I believe. So they only ended up playing 10 games, and that included their conference tournament. So they would have had to win out of their conference tournament. I still am not sure they would have qualified for the amount of games necessary.
So in the Why So Serious Show bracket challenge, me and your father have the most potential points remaining. Now, granted, I only have 7 teams in the Sweet 16, and only 5 of them technically could still qualify for the Elite 8, but 3 of them could qualify for the Final 4, and 2 of them could qualify for the national championship. So I have optimism in this group, but Max is in first place, even though he only has 900 potential points remaining, because the guy with the mustache who plays a harmonica and Loyola Chicago beat the Illini on Sunday. Or actually, no, I'm going to rephrase that. Sister Jean beat the Illini on Sunday.
My bracket has been fantastic.
Y'all really hold on. Y'all really thought Sister Jean was going to lose on Sunday? Y'all really thought.
And this is why I am so tired of Sister Jean, is because everybody is only talking about Sister Jean and not how freaking good Loyola Chicago.
They are a really
their team is so dang
Loyola's
good.
coach is going to get offered the Indiana job, and he'd be a fool not to take it.
Can we talk about how Loyola Chicago's center is 6'9", 255 pounds, and looks like he's 70 years old?
He looks like every single blue collar fan.
At least he's taller than Romello White.
Yeah, by like an inch. But again,
the Loyola Chicago center looks exactly like every single Bears season ticket holder. Like, he looks like the guy who's in like he looks like the guy who's in like the Bears like jacket that says Bears, and then like Andy Dalton fumbles at like the 8-yard line. He takes it off. He's like, I'm done with this team, and like leaves in the second quarter.
I love how you already have Andy Dalton fumbling at the 8-yard line.
Well, yes, here's the thing.
I'm gonna find his name because that's
I'm an inch away.
This story comes from my mom's uncle, who once left a Bears game in the first quarter because Jay Cutler fumbled at the 8-yard line. And he said, I'm done. I'm going. I'm leaving. He left it in the first quarter because Jay Cutler fumbled once.
Do you remember when D'Angelo Hall picked off Jay Cutler 4 times in a game?
I actually remember that game. I distinctly remember where I was when I was watching that game. I was in Dubuque, Iowa.
I remember where I was listening to that game, because that was one of those Sundays where my parents decided they were going to go for a drive. So we had the game on in the car. So we were listening to it. Cameron Crutwig. What a name too.
Yeah.
Like that guy looks like a Crutwig.
He looks like almost every single person from Chicago I've ever met. Like, he looks like straight out of those like Chris Farley SNL sketches where they're all sitting around there. They're like the Bears. Like he looks exactly like
the Ramblers.
Jeremy, are you gonna make fun of my women's bracket?
It's possibly the dumbest thing you've ever done. Like, the same thing happens every year in women's college basketball, and you expect it to be any different this year. I have the 1000th best bracket in the entire world.
I have 37%. I cover women's basketball. I watch a lot of women's basketball. But hey, you know,
ask me what my percentage is.
What's your percentage?
98.7.
Okay, well, I'd like to just say real quick that some of these games are because of upsets, like Michigan beating Tennessee. Like, who thought that was going to happen? Or
not me.
Or 6-seeded Texas?
Because you're a homer. Because you're a Big Ten homer.
Northwestern to the Elite 8, even though they've already been knocked out.
You and me both. Don't let him dissuade you.
6-seeded Texas? Did I really think that
they only played in the games they cared about?
Wait, the highest
excuses every year in football.
I'm talking about the women's bracket.
The women's bracket?
The 6-seeded 6
Just
seeded
pick UConn,
Michigan.
Jesse. That's where you messed up.
I picked UConn to go
He
all
picked
the way.
UConn because they have Beckers. She's going to win
Pretty good
6
pick,
national
honestly.
championships because this season doesn't count towards eligibility.
But you all need you. I thought you would want to make fun of me because I'm the big women's basketball fan.
Jesse, we are in agreement that Beckers is staying for 6 years because this year doesn't
5
count
years.
towards
5 years.
Well, this year doesn't count towards eligibility.
Yeah, so this is her
But
freshman
she could be
year.
a 5th-year senior. She can do a graduate year.
She's a freshman right now.
Yeah, and she can do a 6th year.
No, she can do a 5th year.
She could do a 6th year.
No, she could not do a 6th
No,
year.
she's
Because you
wasting
can
a
all-
year
you
of
can-
eligibility right now.
Jesse, you can already do a 5th year with your graduate year.
No, you can't. You can't play 5 years in
You
college
can't just
basketball.
play 5 years, Jeremy.
You can go to
Shannon
school
Evans
for 5
did it.
years, but you can go to
Shannon
school for
Evans
5
did
years,
it.
but you can only
Yeah, Shannon
play-
Evans sat out a year
Yeah,
Sure.
for transfer purposes.
But you can't play a 5th year
No.
because you want to finish school.
no,
Because you want to finish school.
no.
No.
You
She
can only
can
play
play a
4 years.
maximum of 5 years unless she gets hurt, which God forbid that doesn't happen. But again, I think she's gonna leave after her 3rd year and go to the
Her and
WNBA.
Caitlin Clark are gonna have some battles though, because Caitlin Clark is unbelievable. She is so.
That girl can
But
shoot
but
it.
she was on 6 seeded Texas. Who was gonna pick them? And
She's not on Texas, but close enough. Women's
What'd you say?
basketball expert. She's not on Texas.
She's
Yes,
on
she is.
Iowa.
She's on Iowa.
Oh, wrong. I'm thinking of the other girl. Who's the player on Texas that's gonna go number 1?
Go take a lap around the First Amendment Forum.
I only know. I only know Big Ten.
He's taking a lap. There he goes.
Grab this
I
man
put his mask on first though.
and goodbye.
All right. No, but let's go back to the orange. Syracuse Final Four bound. Max, I'm serious about this. I think there's no way that Oral Roberts doesn't win this next round.
Who are they playing?
Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Arky. No,
I feel like they're both teams that are like gonna be super streaky, and this game is gonna be like 20-0 run, 20-0 run,
If
20-0
I
run for like both
I
teams.
knew that A. Smith was on this team before the tournament started.
Not Osmus?
I would have had them going to the Elite Eight for sure.
Who's the Texas player that's gonna go number 1?
I don't know. This is your job, Jesse.
Greg
I
Oden.
cover the Pac-12.
Greg Oden.
Charlie
Greg Oden.
Collier. Charlie Collier. That's the number 1 pick.
Wait,
That's who I was thinking of. I
No relation.
apologize.
Do you think Charlie Collier and Charlie Turner Thorne ever get together?
They do spell their names exactly the same.
They have the same name.
All right. Do we want to get to the real tournament though?
Sure.
The real
Thing,
tournament. The real tournament.
Yes, our sports movie
Oh, okay.
bracket.
I thought you were saying the women's tournament wasn't a real tournament.
No, I'm
We're not
talking
getting
about
into that
the.
discussion.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I
Women's
was.
tournament
talking-
has been amazing from everything I've watched. By the way, it's been so good.
What are you talking
like,
about?
The women's tournament. has
Oh, it's been
so good.
phenomenal, and
It's been,
everybody that,
Oh, there was a buzzer
ending
beater.
to yesterday's game was great.
except for the officiating.
Well, the
Oh, it's-
officiating's been bad in all of college basketball this year. So
The officiating's just bad in college sports because they're not. I mean, they are professional officials, but
they
they're-
are professional officials, but
they're not like top of the. They're triple A officials.
Gene Steratore does Big Ten basketball.
Yeah,
Did-
but again, is he better? Is he better at that or at NFL? There's a reason why he's in
There-
college for one.
State games, I used to chirp it.
he's in college because maybe he doesn't.
Maybe he
Because,
can't qualify for the NBA.
well, maybe because he's in another professional league. He doesn't have the time to do the NBA when
Get over it.
half the NFL season is an NBA season on a traditional year.
All righty, the second region of the sports movie bracket. Kling, are you prepared to put these on the poll?
Oh God, go ahead. That's what I'm just gonna do.
By the way, this
This is
bracket,
how we have them advance to the next round.
this bracket, by the way, is the epitome of me compromising with Jesse. That is how this whole we were on a Zoom call for over an hour, and the whole thing was me compromising with him over where to put certain movies.
But we
All right.
both agreed that this 16 seed is a 16 seed. Number 1 seeded Caddyshack, the number 2 overall seed.
Okay.
Versus 16 seeded Invincible, because that movie's kind of boring. Sorry, Clay.
Kind of sucks.
I never even seen it, so
You're an
good.
Eagles fan and you haven't seen Invincible? Weird. Okay.
That's pretty boring.
Hold on. I need to confirm the spelling real quick before we move
You know,
on.
Jeremy could turn his camera off. That's a setting on the Zoom.
Okay, I spelled it right. All right. Now I'm doing this in a thread, correct?
Yes, correct.
Give me your 8 and your 9.
The 8 and the 9 seed. The 8 seed. One of the most overrated movies of all time, Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Versus
If you
number
build
9.
it, they will come.
Yep, that's about it. Versus number 9 seed, The Fighter.
Oh, such a good movie.
Yeah, probably
I
should
hope
have
The Fighter
swapped
wins.
those.
I hope The Fighter wins. That's such a good movie.
All
Hey,
right, your
guys.
5 seed.
Hold
Hey
up.
guys, I would love to sit and chat, but duty calls. I gotta go.
What does that
do,
mean?
Go.
I gotta go post to the web.
All right, well, bye. Jeremy
Yeah,
hasn't
I
seen
miss-
any sports movies, by the way,
miss
except
you
for
guys.
Miracle.
This is our 5 and 12 seeds now.
Our 5 and 12 seeds. The 5 seed, Rudy.
Rudy.
Bit overrated.
Not overrated. Great movie.
Yeah,
Made me
it's a
cry.
bit overrated.
Does it doesn't make you cry at the end?
He was offsides. It's nice though.
12
Most of it is fake, but it's nice.
12 seed, Airbud. Our first 12-5, spoiler alert, was an upset. Like
All these
Mike,
12 fives are going to be upsets because we purposely set the 12 seeds as all the movies that people are super nostalgic for. I mean,
like Mike beat Ford v Ferrari.
that's so ridiculous. Ford v Ferrari is such a freaking good movie. That should have
Ford
been
v Ferrari is like an Oscar caliber
Was.
great movie.
It won Best Film Editing, which is like the
Oh.
third biggest award at the Oscars.
Oh, like it's one of the best Sonic movies. Like it might be my favorite movie I've ever seen in theaters. Like
I
it's
feel
so
like-
perfect.
I've seen it like 3 times. It's so good.
It's such a perfect movie for watching it in the movie theater with surround sound. Like it's just so good. Okay.
4-13.
All right. The 4-13, the 4 seed, Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky
Yeah.
Bobby.
I
I
can't.
mean,
I
first,
can't
you're
say
last.
full one, but Talladega Night.
And then versus this one might take down. This is a matchup of Will Ferrell movies, by the way. 13th seeded Kicking and Screaming, which I might actually vote for over Talladega Nights. The whole thing with Coffee and Ditka
I was-
is phenomenal.
I was gonna say the only thing I can really remember about that movie is that he just gets obsessed with coffee. Like
He also hires Mike Ditka as his
Doesn't his-
assistant. He
doesn't
hires
his
him as
dad-
his.
doesn't
By
he
the way,
get the ball from Pele or something, and his dad steal it from him? And like that's
I don't
like,
know.
the whole
I don't
genesis
know.
of why,
I
like,
really
they're
don't know.
playing.
But what I do know is that he fires Mike Ditka.
It's a great movie. I
And
remember
Ditka
seeing
goes-
that movie in theaters way back when I was like a kid.
I saw it in theaters too, and Ditka goes, "Do you know who I am?" And and Will Ferrell's like, "I don't care who you are."
Like at one point, like Farrell shows up in like the bear sweater vest.
They both do. They roll in with
Yeah.
the shades. It's
All
so
right.
good.
6 and 11 seeds.
6 and 11 seed. The 6 seed, A League of Their Own.
Yeah.
I believe that's the 6. 11th
Okay, and the 11 seed.
seeded The Express.
I hope The Express wins. That's such an underrated movie.
All right.
But A League of Their Own has Tom Hanks.
The Express has, the late great Chadwick Boseman.
Okay, now the 3-14 matchup.
Okay.
I believe this is the 3-14
Yes,
matchup.
3-14.
3 Major League. And this one might be an upset due
Great
to
film.
nostalgia purposes. 14th seeded Cool Runnings.
God, I like Cool Runnings, but I hope that Major League wins.
I
Major
really
League
do
wins.
too.
Just
such a
a
good movie.
bit outside.
Just a bit outside with the fastball.
All right,
Billy
seven.
Mays Hayes, one of the best characters in sports movie history.
It's got the Allstate guy in it.
Yeah, he plays kind of a not politically correct role.
Is anything about that movie politically correct?
Very little, very little.
All
I
right,
love that Tom Berenger and Charlie Sheen are in an amazing movie, Platoon, that won Best Picture like 2 years before this, and they both were just like, you know what? Let's just go be in Major League.
Also, Charlie Sheen took steroids for that movie so he could throw an 85-mile-per-hour. Like, Charlie Sheen was a sick baseball player in high school. Like,
But tell me you don't get pumped when he goes out on the field at County Stadium in Milwaukee. When he goes out on the field to Wild Thing, like, come on, like, that's so pumped up.
I hate this effing song.
It's,
all right, 7 and 10.
7 seed, Breaking Away with Dennis Quaid. It's a cycling movie, but it's very good. It's a coming of age as well.
I've
You
never
gotta see
seen
it.
this film before.
Versus very, very lowly seeded Jerry Maguire
Yeah,
at the
it's
10
pretty lowly
seed.
seated. Just off of like the amount of iconic lines, like "You had me at hello" and "Show me the money," and
Like, Jerry Maguire could have been a 1 seed, but we have it as a 10 seed in this bracket.
the question about Jerry Maguire, I feel like, is how much is it a sports movie? Like, obviously,
It's
one of the
about
main
a
characters-
sports agent.
I know it's about sports agent.
Arizona State. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
I know it's about sports agent, but so much of it is about the romance, though. Like, I
True, but like, so is that crappy Kevin Costner Perfect Game
like-
movie where
you could have
Like-
just said that crappy Kevin Costner sports movie, honestly.
All right, and finally,
So
2
many
and
bad
15.
I like Tin Cup.
Eh.
All right,
All right.
2 and 15.
The 215, the 2 seeded Remember the Titans, great movie. And the 15th seeded Uncle Drew.
Uncle Drew's funny, man.
I've never seen it.
Okay, but this is like, it's like putting, I don't know what to say. You can't compare a movie that I watched in my Catholic social justice class against a movie based off a Pepsi commercial.
Uncle Drew's
Yes,
funny,
you
though.
can. We're doing it now. All right.
It's a 215.
It's a 215.
Uncle
All right.
Drew's funny.
Unfortunately, and fortunately, we forgot to do this one of the regions on the Monday show. So we've got to go and do one more region here,
Oh!
much to
All right.
Kling's dismay. All right. This one's a great matchup that I might actually just for kicks and grins vote for the 16 seed. The number 1 seed Moneyball versus 16th seeded Bernie Mac and Mr. 3000.
God,
It's
Moneyball's
such a terrible sports movie.
I love that Moneyball has a free ride to the second round because I love Moneyball. One of my favorite movies ever, not just sports movies.
All right, number 8 seeded
Hold on.
Pride of the Yankees.
Hold on. Pride of the Yankees. Ooh.
This is a tough choice. This might be the toughest choice. Why it's an 8-9 seed. But
the 9 seed is.
the 9 seed is Warrior with Tom Hardy.
Warrior is such a good movie.
Again, you can't understand a word he's saying in the entire movie, but it's awesome.
That's when he's at his best, is when you can't understand a word he says.
Is there a movie that you can understand a single word he says, though?
All right, 5 and 12.
The 5 seed, White Men Can't Jump. Versus the
Classic
12
movie.
seed that's totally going to beat it, The Sandlot.
That is nostalgia. That is a
Yep.
nostalgia seeding.
See, this is
That's
why
the
it's going to
thing.
win.
His 12 seeds are all nostalgia seeds. That's what we consciously decided.
Hey, I mean, 11 seeds are nostalgia seeds in real tournaments, it seems like.
All right, so
413.
4 is 42, great Chadwick Boseman movie. What turned him into a star?
Still haven't seen this.
How? It's so good.
I don't know.
I-
just missed it.
It's
It turned one of the actors of our generation into a star.
It's true.
He was so good as Jackie Robinson. It was just so good. All right,
true.
versus
I meant to see it after his passing. I meant to see it, and I just never got around to it.
okay, that 42 is facing off against 13 seed Rocky Balboa, aka Rocky 6.
Rocky Balboa is a great movie. Really
It
underrated.
is. It's very unrealistic, but most of the Rocky movies are, because Sylvester Stallone is about a middleweight, maybe a welterweight.
I think it's the most underrated Rocky movie. Rocky Balboa.
It's definitely one of the most under.
It's a good movie.
I've only seen Rockies 1, 2, and 3, and Creed 1 and 2.
Oh, if you've seen Creed 2, you at least have to see Rocky.
Matt is losing his Philly cred like every minute we go
Wait
through
a
this
minute.
show.
Not see my tweet yesterday?
No.
Yesterday, National Cheesesteak Day, and I gave up red meat for Lent. So I've not had beef since Fat Tuesday when I had In-N-Out.
I gave up drinking cow's milk.
I know you did.
And I tried oat milk. It's good in things, like it's good for cereal, but it's not good to drink. I
tried oat milk to drink, and it's disgusting.
But it's good in cereal.
Okay, what's our 6-11 matchup?
By the way, Matt, if you haven't seen Rocky 4, but you've seen Creed 2, Rocky 4 significantly makes Creed 2 better. You should.
I know Rocky 4 is about the Russian, and I know that they play that the song "Living in America" by James Brown is heavily featured
Living in America.
It might be the most underrated song of the Rocky franchise. Obviously, the theme song is the best one, followed by the song that they play at like the end of the movies, and then Eye of the Tiger. Then "Living in America" would be number 4.
Isn't the song that they play at the end of the movies just the slower version of the like?
Yeah, I could play.
By the way, "Lord Knows" by Meek Mill, really underrated Rocky song.
Yeah,
now.
too.
Hey, I like everything about those movies is great. Even Rocky 5 would be a great movie if it was the only one in the series.
I don't agree with that. It'd be a fine movie. It's just by far the worst Rocky movie.
This is the ending song I'm talking about. Actually, no. Never mind. Let's finish the polls and then
6 seed Foxcatcher.
Oh, such a good movie. Foxcatcher's so good.
11 seed.
11 seed Rocky 4. We are potentially setting up an Elite 8 matchup between Rocky 4 and Rocky Balboa, but I don't think that Rocky Balboa will beat 42.
That's a brutal matchup between two vastly different movies.
Foxcatcher and Rocky 4. Well, Rocky 4 is a fighting movie, and Foxcatcher also is about fighting.
Yeah, Rocky 4 is like the dumbest, schlockiest movie ever, and Foxcatcher is like depressing, dour. Like, I've seen that movie only twice in my life, and I love it.
Kling, I can't hear that song. Hate to break it to you. Okay. All right. We're ready for a 3-14 matchup?
Yes.
3, Brian's Song.
I hear that's really sad.
Yeah.
It is. Versus something that is not sad, and is very inspirational. 14 seed Glory Road.
Glory Road's a good movie.
Is Batman in that movie?
Nope.
Batman.
All right.
The guy that plays Batman in the 90s. He's in Glory Road, right?
No, I don't think so.
All right, let's do the 7.
Hold on. I need to figure this out, or else I'm going to. I'm on it, Dano.
All right, 7 and 10. Come on, dude.
No, I gotta get to figure out who's in Glory Road.
Glory Road's a great movie though. There's that one like gag where the guy's like struggling in class, so his mom follows him around in class, and it's a great gag if you've seen the movie. It's really funny.
Oh no, John. Well, actually, John Voight is in the movie and he plays Adolf Rupp. That works.
That really checks out. That must have been like one of his dream roles.
Isn't he what's her face's dad? Angelina Jolie.
Julia Roberts, right? Yeah. Or no,
I think he's Angelina Jolie's
Jolie.
dad.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie. Yeah.
All right, 7-10.
All right, the 7-10 matchup. is 7th seeded, The Way Back.
Oh, great movie.
One word or 2 words.
The Way Back. 3 words.
Okay. 10 seed.
One of my favorites of this last year, by the way.
10th seeded, Peanut Butter Falcon, another wrestling movie.
Oh, love that movie too. One of my favorites of the year before.
Okay. And finally, what's our 211?
2 seeded Miracle
Ooh.
Great movie.
versus 15th seeded Trouble with a Curve. Because you can't understand what Clint Eastwood is saying in a bad way because he's old. And then the chemistry there between Amy Adams and Justin Timberlake, it just doesn't really work.
Tried to make it through it, got like 20 minutes in, and it was just like this.
Oh, you missed the end is great. The end is great. Because you know why I like that movie actually? I like it because, and I'm trying not, this is kind of a spoiler. Do you guys care? Do you care, Max?
No,
Okay.
I watched like 20 minutes of it. I don't care.
The douchey baseball guy from your high school loses at the end. That's why it's good.
That's nice.
That's why it's a good movie.
I like that.
But I'm not going to vote for it over Miracle. There's no chance.
Miracle's so good. That football scene in the snow, like when there's like the speech going over it and stuff. That's like the most patriotic scene in the history of movies.
Okay, that'll do it for this week's edition of the sports movie bracket.
All right. Okay, all right.
Vote on those polls. Please vote on those polls. Vote.
You'll retweet them.
I will retweet the thread. Yes, definitely. I will not retweet every single poll, but that should take people to the right spot.
Okay.
All right. Well, since we have basically spent 40-ish minutes on March Madness and our versions of March Madness, we should do the Mount Rushmore of 1960s songs.
Yes, we should.
And I will go ahead and start with it going to Max, and then Kling twice, then back to Max, then me twice. Snake style as normal. All right,
Okay.
so I'm going to start with the Elvis classic. It is only 1 minute and 55 seconds long. They did a very good remake of this for one of the Oceans themes or Oceans movies. I don't remember which one, but it is A Little Less Conversation.
The
Very
theme
well
song
used.
from the show Las Vegas on NBC back in the day.
Very well used in the movie Fred Claus. That's true. Look it up. It's in Fred Claus.
I will. Isn't
Okay.
that isn't that a what's his face movie?
Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti plays Santa Claus.
What a terrible Santa Claus casting.
Paul Giamatti is cut out for any role. Okay. I'll go on to mine. So I'm doing my Mount Rushmore a little differently. I'm a huge Beatles
Paul
fan.
Giamatti is 53.
He's a great actor. I would guess he was like 70. He's a great actor. He can play any age. All right.
I don't know about 25.
I think he could. I think he could pull it off.
Okay.
Anyway,
Please make it work. Okay. All right, Max, yours.
put that on the poll. Could Paul Giamatti play 25?
I will.
All right. So I did my Mount Rushmore a little differently this week because I'm a huge Beatles nerd. 60s songs, Beatles, Prime Beatles. I needed to include it. So I am having 4 non-Beatles choices and 4 Beatles choices, and I will announce them at the same time. So my non-Beatles choice is Wouldn't It Be Nice by the Beach Boys.
Oh,
Good
such a
one.
good song.
My favorite Beach Boys song. It's so catchy, used fantastically in the movie It's Complicated. And I love that song so much. Then my Beatles song is Hey Jude, my favorite Beatles song.
Great.
Lucky
A little
enough-
overrated.
I was lucky enough to see Paul McCartney live last summer or 2 summers ago before everything.
Really nice.
Went to whatever. I was able to see Paul McCartney live. He ended with Hey Jude. Whole place went insane. It was amazing. It was incredible. So Wouldn't It Be Nice and Hey Jude?
Not even a top 20 Beatles song.
That's incorrect.
All right. It's a little boring at the start. All right, Matt, two choices from you.
All right. My first one technically is a Beatles song. However, it's not the Beatles version of it. It is With a Little Help from My Friends by Joe Cocker, one of
I like this take. Yeah.
of the quintessential songs from Woodstock, and also the theme song to The Wonder Years, I believe, one of the shows from the 80s. The next song I picked is another classic. It's a song that they actually, and I'll just name it. It's "Oh Pretty Woman" by Roy Orbison. If you recall, in A Star Is Born, Bradley Cooper is on another cloud on stage playing this song at the Grammys. It is it sets up one of the weirdest moments in any movie, of Bradley Cooper stumbling on stage to congratulate his wife for winning a Grammy while completely obliterated.
Such a terrible movie.
What?
Very overrated.
Get out of here.
It was boring as hell.
It's a good movie. I don't know if it's great, but it's a good
Everybody overrated that movie. Lady Gaga was she was all right. Bradley Cooper was decent. Like it was like the fifth time they've made A Star Is Born. Get over it. Make a new movie.
No. Lady Gaga was great. Bradley Cooper was drunk. Like that's the whole movie.
Okay, yeah, maybe that. Yeah, Lady Gaga was solid. Lady Gaga was the highlight.
Bradley Cooper gave one of the best performances of the decade in that movie, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little overrated.
He should have run away with Best Actor that year. But
Who won Best Actor that year?
Rami Malek.
Rami Malek, who did a great job in Bohemian Rhapsody, even though he
didn't do a great job.
You know who didn't sing though? Rami Malek. You know who did? Bradley Cooper.
You know who did? Taron Egerton.
He was better. That movie is so much better than Borat.
I agree. I
have to say, Goodbye Yellow
Rocket Man is one of my favorite movies of all time. Okay, keep going.
Goodbye Yellow Brick Road in that movie is better than Elton John's version.
Yes, I agree completely. I think almost everything is. Taron Egerton gives an amazing
build. Like if I wanted to create a play based off that movie, and they need to make a play out of it, I base it to be that number as the featured number. Not I'm Still Standing, not Rocket Man. Absolutely. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, because that scene is the most transformational scene in the whole movie. I'm sorry.
I think I liked the honky cat scene too, if I can remember.
And Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting is the great scene too, because they transition from him being from like a young teenager to him being an older teenager, and when Taron Egerton comes in and starts singing.
So I will have two things to say on that movie. The honky cat scene I love because I love Richard Madden's speaking voice. Like I'm just in love with it, and his singing voice is just like an extension of his speaking voice. So I love hearing him sing in that song. And then also the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. That is the emotional weight of that movie. I was enjoying the movie up until then. That is when I was sitting there in the theater like, this is a great movie. Was during the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
But I cried during the Rocket Man scene.
I think I did.
Rocket Man scene's great too. I mean, it's a great movie.
But Goodbye Yellow Brick Road hits you.
It does.
I'm going to put that on the poll. Does Goodbye Yellow Brick Road hit you?
It does.
All right, Max, what's your second song? What's your second song? Or in your other Beatles song?
So my second song is Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, I believe is her name. Once again, gonna bring up a movie. Remember the Titans. It's incredibly used in that movie. That is like probably where I first like really got to know it. And
talk about a movie soundtrack.
Great soundtrack. But that's a great song. I love it. It gets you excited. Like you want to sing along to it every single time you hear it. It's a great car song. I love it. And then my second Beatles song is a little bit lesser known Beatles song, but it's off my favorite Beatles album. And the song is Baby You're a Rich Man, which isn't as well known, but it's very well used once again in a movie. And The Social Network is the ending scene of The Social Network. The song's very, very catchy. It's a great song. It's probably one of my favorite John Lennon heavy songs. And so, yeah.
Nice. All right. 2 from me. All right. I'm going to go with Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. One of my favorite guitar riffs of all time. And then another song that I think is overall one of the best songs of all time for every little part of it. And that is Drive My Car by the Beatles. I think Drive My Car has great guitar, great piano that is barely noticeable, but there, great drumming by Ringo. It has phenomenal bass by Paul. And then the vocals, of course, are just, absolutely incredible because it's the Beatles. Yes. And I think and it's a great way for Paul McCartney to kick off his shows. He normally opens with that song. I don't know if he opened with it when you saw him, Max.
I can't remember. It was either that or Come Together that he opened with, because he
but
did a bunch of like even John Lennon songs when he played. It was a weird show, but
it's just such a good song, and it kicks off my favorite Beatles album, the first Rubber Soul, which was the first album that they did stuff a little bit more weird. Like they did Nowhere Man on that album. They experimented sonically on that album, but that is Drive My Car is more of a traditional Beatles song from early era, but it's just a little bit tuned up from that, and it's phenomenal. All right, that back to you, Max.
yeah, that's one of my top three like favorite old Beatles songs. My other ones are I Saw Her Standing There and Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride, by the way, Ringo Starr's finest work. Go listen to that song with like the drums isolated. Unbelievable stuff that he did in that song.
Yes.
Anyway,
my favorite Beatle, Ringo.
My next one is White Room by Cream. I don't know how many people really know this song still.
In a white room.
There you go. Like I was gonna say, like I don't know how many people really know this song, but if you go listen to the song, you will know it. Like you'll be like, oh, I recognize that song.
I just know I've been waiting so long to be where I'm going in the sunshine of your love.
It's such a good song. Again, I'm gonna bring up a movie used brilliantly in Joker. I know there's mixed opinions on the movie Joker. I thought it's great. I thought White Room was a brilliant song to put at the end of that movie. And then my Beatles song, once again from my favorite album, Magical Mystery Tour, the song Penny Lane.
Penny Lane,
which is an amazing song about them just growing up where they grew up. It's so catchy. It gives the name to one of the characters in one of my favorite movies, Almost Famous. Her name is Penny Lane. Kate Hudson was nominated for an Oscar for it. And yeah, no, it's a great song, and it puts a big smile on my face whenever I listen to it.
All right.
Kling, your last two.
My last two. So I'll just start by saying that honorable mentions could be really a lot of the iconic Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons songs like Sherry and Big Cry, Walk Like a Man. I have not seen the movie Jersey Boys, but I saw the play in Phoenix. Although I heard Jersey Boys was great here. The song
I can think of as the other guys. I'm sorry.
The song I'm choosing for my number 3 choice and is "Can't Take My Eyes Off You" by Frankie Valli. Now, this is a great song, originally recorded in 1967. And now I'm gonna go on a mini rant right now.
Oh, here we go.
And this is about the current day radio. There is a song called ILY, I Love You Baby by Surf Mesa that's literally just the chorus of Can't Take My Eyes Off You repeated. And that is one of the most annoying songs in the past year. The other most annoying song in the past year was this guy who did a remake of Corinne Bailey Rae's Girl Put Your Records On. Like, why do we need these crappy remakes of great songs on our radio right now by no-name artists?
Nothing is worse than Jake Owen's remake of Jack and Diane. That was so bad.
I never heard it. I never will.
Jack and Diane, the original, is a great song, by the way.
It is. I love myself some Knockoff Bruce.
Knowing, yeah.
That's what I call John Mellencamp. Knockoff Bruce.
You got that right. My number 4 song on this list, and
Johnny Cougar.
I didn't really prepare many honorable mentions. I can name a couple. "Piece of My Heart" by Janis Joplin should be considered one of the greatest songs of all time. I don't know why I didn't think of it. Ring of Fire also. Max, did you watch The Masked Singer? Or
No. I'm not really following it that much. I'm just seeing who got revealed every week, pretty much.
Well, check out the guy who got revealed last night's performance of Ring of Fire. It's comically hilarious. Also, while I'm on the topic of Johnny Cash, and I'm just confirming that this song was a six. Oh wow, this is in the 50s, so this doesn't count.
Ring of Fire.
But a Ring of Fire is in the 60s, so that counts. But Folsom Prison Blues, which is my favorite Johnny Cash song, that's from the 50s, so that does not count.
Wait a minute. Actually, I think I would count it because the version that everyone knows, the single release, is the live from Folsom Prison version, which is released in the 1960s. So therefore, I will count it for either decade.
Hold up. That I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. Woo! That's my favorite line in that song. All right.
I like there's probably rich folks eating in a fancy dining car. They're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars.
Yep. This song is this song is my childhood vacation. It is Wildwood, New Jersey. It is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It is the number 4 song on my list, and it is one of the first. I mean, the version of it hit number 1. It is the only song to hit number 1 twice in 2 separate, with like years in between, until All I Want for Christmas Is You did it. It is The Twist by Chubby Checker.
What a name. Chubby Checker.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yes.
It's such a good name. All right. Thank you, Kling. That was phenomenal songs there. Max, your last one?
Yep.
And your last Beatles song?
Honorable mentions here. I've got a bunch of Beatles songs written down that I also love. A Day in the Life, an amazing Beatles song. While My Guitar Gently Weeps, a great song. Come Together, one of their most iconic songs. I Saw Her Standing There, which I mentioned before. Eleanor Rigby, which is an amazing song. The Fool on the Hill, an incredible song. Blackbird, one of Paul McCartney individually's best songs. Back in the USSR, The End, which is another amazing Ringo song. Speaking of amazing Ringo songs, Ticket to Ride. And then I enjoy Obla Di Obla Die. I know that it's very controversial. Like John Lennon almost quit the Beatles over the song, but I enjoy the song. I think it's fun.
The song sucks and Paul McCartney doesn't even like it, but he still plays it.
He loves
because there is this section of fans that loves the song.
Exactly. He loves to play it because the crowd goes crazy when he plays it. It's great.
The White Album in general has some weirdos, but
it's
got Revolution 9, which is the worst song I've ever heard.
They legitimately almost got in a fight over Obla Di Obla Die. They hate John Lennon thought it was the worst song ever made. It's
not a good song, but it's enjoyable.
It's not, but it's fun. But anyway. And then I also want to point out that there should have been more Marvin Gaye on all of our lists in general, because Marvin Gaye is one of the greatest artists of all time.
True.
So I just
but a lot of his stuff is very good in the 70s and very good in the 80s. So.
That's true. I just wanted to give the point out to him. Also want to give a point out to CCR, which made some great music in the 60s. And then the Chambers Brothers with Time Has Come Today, which is an unbelievably good song that I've only recently been introduced to. But it's such an incredible song. It's so
Bye, Matt. All right. Well, I have.
So anyway, I still have my 2, or my last.
I didn't even hear that.
Which are "Evil Ways" by Santana, which is an amazing song. His first big hit came out in 1969. Great song.
Nice.
And then my last Beatles song is "Here Comes the Sun." I know it's very generic. I know it's very whatever, but that guitar riff, it just gets you every time. So
I will give a shout out to a Beatles song you did not mention that I've always loved ever since I got the number 1 Beatles, number 1 greatest hits thing. I don't know if you know that CD.
Yep, I have the Blu-ray of it.
Yeah. So it is Lady Madonna. Lady Madonna is a great song. And then another one that was actually only recorded by John and Paul. They played the drums, bass, guitar, and sang on that song because Ringo and George were somewhere else and couldn't record it. It's the Ballad of John and Yoko. That song is one of my favorite bass songs of all time.
Yep.
And I'm a big fan of the bass. And then shout out The Who, because The Who started in the 1960s. Now my favorite Who comes out in the 70s. However, Tommy, the rock opera / bad movie / good musical, came out in that decade, as well as Can't Explain, one of my favorite of their songs, one of the best guitar songs again of all time. But my last one, and she would have been 79 years old today if she was still alive, is You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman by Aretha Franklin. I think that's actually her best song. I think it just shows off how good her voice is. She is the diva, in my opinion. I don't think there is anyone else that really compares. I know you can throw out a Madonna. I know you can throw out a Britney Spears. You can throw out even someone up nowadays like Ariana Grande, who, by the way, covers this song on Jimmy Fallon unbelievably. But yes, I think that Aretha Franklin is the top diva of all time and is just overall amazing. And so I'm celebrating her birthday today, what would have been her 79th birthday, with, in my opinion, her best song. So there you go. And
that's one of those songs that, like, even if you've never really like gone out of your way to listen to it, you know it. Like, you know that song.
Yeah, it's great.
Great song. By the way, I also wanted to throw a little shout out. It's a different thing. It's a movie soundtrack song. But Let's Go Fly a Kite from Mary Poppins gets me every time. Like, that song
Mary
is
Poppins.
so good.
Various songs from Mary Poppins.
But Let's Go Fly a Kite specifically. I think that's the Sherman Brothers.
I like the Chimney Sweep song.
It's a good song, but the Sherman Brothers have made a lot of amazing songs. Let's Go Fly a Kite. It's just
Is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang a 60s movie?
I think so.
By the way, shout out Dick Van Dyke. Still going strong.
Did you see the sequel to Mary Poppins? Dick Van Dyke like legitimately tap dances and stuff in it.
Oh, Dick Van Dyke is like, he's 95 and is a total stud.
Like, he like jumps up on a desk and starts like tap dancing. I'm like, what? He looks like he's about to drop dead, and he just like starts like tap dancing like incredibly. I'm like, this is incredible. Like, this guy's amazing.
Has he been given a Lifetime Achievement Award by the Oscars yet?
He's had to have. I know he's
like, that guy is just he's such an icon. Like, he's might be the most underrated.
Yeah, he's definitely gotten one from the Globes. I don't know about the Oscars, but he's definitely
might be one of the most underrated icons. Like, yeah, and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, 1968, one of the weirdest but best movies of all time.
His performance in Mary Poppins might be the epitome of being terrible and being great in the movie at once. It just like works because his accent is so bad.
He's very good in Night at the Museum as well.
I don't even remember him in that.
He's like the old guy that like gives them the keys, but he's like also trying to steal something, I think. Like, he's a bad guy in the movie and he plays it very well.
It's been a long time since I've seen Night at the Museum movie.
Very good movie. Very good. Very good Ben Stiller. I'm a big Ben Stiller fan. I think he plays the straight comic very well. He's very good at it. I don't know if you've ever seen Then Along Came Polly, but that is a phenomenal movie.
Okay.
Let it rain.
I've got something to say about Along Came Polly. That would be maybe the worst movie ever made if it wasn't for Philip Seymour Hoffman. But Philip Seymour Hoffman gives a legitimately Oscar-worthy performance in that movie.
Ben Stiller is so good too. Ben Stiller in his IBS, like it's
oh my god, that scene made me cringe so hard. Like, I was like dying when I watched.
He takes her to Indian food. Why?
But the Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I think Philip Seymour Hoffman, the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in peace.
Yeah,
I think he's one of the best actors of the last 50 years. His performance in that movie confirms it, because that movie is such a generic, dumb, bad romantic comedy, and he gives He legitimately goes 100% the entire way through and gives an unbelievable performance. Like
What about Hank Azaria's character?
No, all I care about in that movie is Philip Seymour. Like the first scene when he walks, he's like Ruben, and he just like falls on the floor, and you can tell like it's actually him falling. So good. And then like when they're in the elevator, he's like, "Oh man, I'm so freaking horny." every line is so good, and like the Jesus Christ Superstar play that he's in. Oh my god, I love Phil.
He's like a child actor with one big movie, and he's just been riding. He's just been living off of that for like his whole life.
Ooh.
What?
Oh yeah, that's who he plays. Yes.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yes, that's who he plays. Yes.
But I don't know if it's a sports movie. We should have put it in.
Is it?
It's a sports movie.
I think we're really stretching the definition of sports movie there.
Hey, it's so good though. Hold on.
At some point, like before Fame, Kevin Hart shows up, and you're like, "What?"
Oh yeah, I do think that Kevin Hart is in that movie.
He's like, yeah, he like shows up for like 2 seconds because he's like part of the documentary crew, like on Philip Seymour Hoffman's character. This is like 2003 or something. Kevin Hart. Yeah. Philip Seymour Hoffman giving an Oscar-worthy performance here, ladies and gentlemen.
I did a lot of thinking last night. There's something I'm pretty excited about. What's up? Nice. Right. I feel like I might be ready to move on. So, Molly Prince on a date. Oh, that's a mistake. She's not right for you, dude. Bring it! Play some twos? You know what? Actually, we're kind of in the middle of a conversation. Douchebags, bring your agent. What was that? I'm just messing with you, Sasquatch. Let's get it out.
So good in this movie.
It's legitimately a top 5 funniest scene of all time.
It might not even be the funniest scene in the movie though, with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
It gets even better though. Just wait for it. Northern Arizona University or NAIU?
It looks like NAIU.
Good God.
Like that. Enough said. Ball in. I really feel like I ran into Polly for a reason. Really. I mean, I'm sorry if you don't agree, Sandy. I happen to believe in a little thing called destiny.
This Philip Seymour Hoffman has no idea he's in a dumb romantic comedy. He is giving the performance of his lifetime.
He does that in a dumb romantic comedy.
You know what? I'd rather not, dude. I just found out how to cover this man right here.
He's so good. He's so dumb. He's so good in that movie. I mean, he's
so good. What is that?
Crispy, tasty, organic fiber.
It's Kashi biscuits because it was another Along Came Polly scene. We're rolling.
By the way, since we're talking about Along Came Polly, have you seen the movie They Came Together? I think it's called.
No.
So it's basically a movie that just spoofs romantic comedies, and they have a basketball scene where like the main character's like in a park with his friends, like playing basketball. He's like, yeah, like I've just been really, really stressed about our relationship. And then like he passes his friend, his bad friend is like, basketball. He's like, like the whole movie is like that, where it's just so dumb. It's like playing off.
Isn't
like,
there always like a sports scene in a romantic comedy where they're
yeah, it's spoofing like that kind of scene, like where they're talking like really like about their relationship over basketball and stuff, like where he's talking with his friend. So they're just like basketball, and like he's like, yeah, like my relationship's going really rough, and he throws and the other guy's like basketball. It's just so good. Like the whole movie is just like a complete spoof off of every single romantic comedy like thing you can imagine. It's so funny though.
all right. So you had a sort of movie segment.
Not really, but
It's just talking about someone.
yes.
Go for it.
So I wanted to talk about the unfortunately late great Jessica Walter, who is in my opinion, the funniest television show ever made, which is Arrested Development. And she plays, I think, possibly the funniest character on the show. Now, I'm not super familiar, unfortunately, with a lot of her other work, but she was unbelievable on this show. She gave so many great one-liners. She's in so many GIFs. I mean, that when you see them pop up, it just always brings a smile to your face. She played the character incredibly. She was nominated for 1 Emmy for the role, for 2 Golden Globes for the role. And it's one of the funniest shows ever made. And I thought it would be wrong to go through a full show today on the day of her passing without mentioning the great Jessica Walter, who died yesterday. It was just announced today, but she died yesterday in her sleep at the age of 80 years old. Yeah, this was really one of those celebrity deaths that just crushed me, because I mean, her role in that show, very important to me. It's a hilarious show. And she played it so well over so many years. And it became kind of almost iconic, a lot of what she did. So I thought we needed to mention her today. So
I think I'll have to watch Arrested Development at some point.
you should. I think you'd really enjoy it. You got to watch it from the start. The problem with Arrested Development is it is not a phone show. It is not. You cannot look at your phone during it. You have to be watching it 100%.
I don't do that. I don't do that in general. So
But I do that. So like that's just the one thing about Arrested Development is it does demand your full attention, because there's a lot of background gags. There's a lot of like really subtle jokes and stuff like that. So it's a show that a lot of people have trouble getting into, but if you can get into it and really, really start to enjoy it, you'll love it. It's very dry humor. I think you like dry humor generally.
I do.
I think you like Jason Bateman, right? I think we've talked about him before.
I do.
Jason Bateman's the main character in it.
I like the movie The Switch.
Yeah. If you like the movie The Switch, you'll like this, because he's the main character and he's great. So, yes, Arrested Development is an amazing show.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and update the polls. Not all of the movie polls, but there are some interesting early results here. So could Paul Giamatti play 25? 100% no. And then does Goodbye Yellow Brick Road hit you when it comes on a Rocket Man? 100% yes. Very interesting right now. Glory Road up 60-40 on Brian's song. That's a bit of a surprise.
We have enough middle-aged men voting.
Not a surprise. Moneyball has 100% of the votes over Mr. 3000. Peanut Butter Falcon leading the way back.
I'm fine with that. Peanut Butter Falcon's a great movie.
Invincible has 2 votes over Caddyshack. Jerry Maguire is killing Breaking Away 80-20. And then Remember the Titans shockingly up on Uncle Drew. Let's see if there's any other ones that I wanted to highlight. Let's see. Did I already? Yeah, already. Oh, The Sandlot is killing White Men Can't Jump.
Sounds about right.
Warrior is beating Pride of the Yankees. Slim lead of 42 over Rocky Balboa. Rocky 4 over Foxcatcher. That doesn't surprise me, even though one of those movies I voted for Rocky 4. I'm sorry.
It's a tough draw for Foxcatcher, because Foxcatcher is not like exactly a movie that many people walk out of and be like, yeah, I love that. Like, It's like
Yeah,
the
but you can still appreciate great
well,
cinema.
I do. I love it. I think it's an amazing movie. It's a really dour, depressing movie.
All right, we'd like to thank Matt Kling, Jeremy Schnell, Zach Kaplan for coming on. Max, thank you, and of course, good night, Canada.